Good morning, everybody. You tune into Crackcore. Thank you for being here today. I thoroughly appreciate it. I do appreciate the regular viewers. Thank you very much. So today we're talking about, I don't know, man, a bit of a sore subject for some, but just like anything, man, you know, if you don't talk about it, if you don't get it out there, then obviously, you know, it's never ever gonna get sorted, you know. You got to talk about the difficult issues, man. You know, they're difficult because they're not spoken about. You got to break the ice. You know, it's a bit like meeting somebody and speaking to them for the first time. It's a bit difficult, but then eventually it gets easier. So today we're going to be talking about the potentials for, well, first and foremost, the shattering of the family unit by design as a means to control, you know, like the global domination aspect of all of this stuff. There's another facet to it, you know, it's the shattering of the family unit, because it all starts to piece in. And, you know, how the modern feminist movement like starts to fit within that. And other aspects, but that's a big part of it, because I truly believe that the divine feminine is the key to all of this, you know, truly. And obviously the divine masculine too. There's nothing wrong with being a divine masculine man. I mean, ultimately, I said this on another video, but this is, like I said, a couple of videos previous to this, we might have to revisit this subject, because there is an awful lot of propaganda media. I mean, isn't there always, surrounding these subjects, that serves to kind of pit one side against the other side with regards to society. I remember trying to talk about the feminist movement with some ladies a few years back now, and their opinion was extremely aggressive, actually, towards men. And, you know, what these people react with, the answers you get are quite literally word for word, you know, what is projected by the figureheads of this organization. And I think I may have mentioned that on the last video, but just to recap, I watched an interview with some women that are like prominent, I guess, within the modern day feminist movement, and they were very angry, and they were talking about a few bits and bobs, saying a few phrases and stuff, and I remember hearing it thinking to myself, Christ, you know, this is very angrily put across. And I got the exact same phrases and terminologies from these other women, and I was like, it's obvious then at that point that the opinion then becomes a collective opinion, and that's the danger. Because once you've got people's ear like that, you can say whatever you want. You know, you can rebel rouse, you can start a fucking war, should you so please. And at that point, you know, critical thinking and rational thought kind of tends to go out the window a little bit, because it becomes dogma, it becomes a doctrine. And that's where the danger lies, because then it doesn't matter what you say, people will just repeat it, because that's, you know, the side of it, that's what they believe now, that's their belief system. Therefore, it's a bit like people that wholeheartedly become fanatical about certain religions. They'll throw, you know, logic out the window with a lot of these things, and they will just say, well, that's what it is, because that's what is said, without actually critically questioning these things themselves. And again, that's where the danger with that lies. There's nothing wrong with religion, there's nothing wrong with spiritualism, should it be approached and used in the right ways, which is ultimately for positive ends, right? Or at least that's what people say. That's ultimately why a lot of people get involved in these movements, for positive reasons. So why is it then that a lot of the time it becomes fractalized and, you know, people are turned against one another, even within the movement themselves? Because you do get the purists, the idealists, you know, and all of these different aspects within particular organizations. And then why is it then that it's kind of flipped on its head and people then become, instead of using it as a tool to defend themselves, they start to use it as a weapon to attack and to shout for vengeance and these kind of things. It's, in my opinion, the pattern goes on and on and on. It continues with many different things. Again, religion being another one of these things. I mean, look at how many lives have been lost, how much blood has been spilt in the name of the Lord. It's quite sick, really, when you think about it. But anyway, the family unit, the shattering of the family unit. You see, it's being portrayed these days. I mean, first and foremost, let's just actually start from the beginning here. Because, you know, start a book from the middle, do it? Well, some people do. Let's get to the good bit. Basically, you know, what you've got is the structure of the planet Earth being the macrocosm of the, it's a bit as above, so below. Isn't that always the case? Of the microcosm, which is the family unit, which then becomes the individual people themselves, and so on. Who inherits the earth? That's a question. Who inherits the earth? My answer to that question is, well, it's your kids, isn't it? It's a generational aspect. I mean, ultimately, we're all just caretakers of this planet. Whether the fuck you believe it's a real planet or not, that's not what this video is about. Whether you believe this is a simulation or prime Earth, whether you believe this is the Matrix, it doesn't fucking matter at this point. We're here, aren't we? We're living here. This is the reality that we know right now. So, for God's sakes, live in it. Live in the moment. And create the world you want to fucking live in. Because even if this is a shitty simulation run by fucking reptiles and AI, well, don't you want it to be a decent one that you can actually enjoy while you're here? One that actually allows the enrichment and nourishment of the human soul or the human mind, whatever you want to fucking put it, the human spirit, so that you can therefore have the time to give the attention to elevating yourself beyond it, should it be like that, you know? Surely, it's a bit like fucking having a whipping boy once again, isn't it? Oh, well, we're living in hell, so fuck it. No. If we are the co-creators of this reality, then let's bloody well create a better one. It starts with you and personal responsibility. You know, personal responsibility has been taken away from people simply because it's intrinsic within the design of the control mechanism that's imposed upon all of us. It's cyclical. But anyway, first and foremost, you know, you've got the family unit that is allowed to, well, at some point in time, the family unit raises their children. You raise your children with morals, values based on a collective acceptance. Now, ultimately, people keep people in check. Right and wrong is something that is inbuilt, right? You know right and wrong. You know when you do something, whether you've been told or not, if it is inherently right or wrong. You know it in your fucking heart of hearts. Therefore, morals and all of these things come from that. This is what you teach your children, to be good people, right? You don't want your kid to grow up to be a fucking psychopath. So you raise them to be good people, right? The family unit, and the way it works, the traditional family unit, it kind of gives the sole responsibility, the sole power of the future to the mother of them children, right? And where else should it lie? If you look at the micro/macrocosm analogy, Mother Earth, she is the nurturer, the bearer of life. Even on our planet, Mother Earth is the vessel in which the seed may grow. You know, Father Nature, the trees, they drop an acorn onto the ground, and Mother Earth takes it within herself and allows a mighty oak to grow. This is the nature of all things. Mother Earth is the most beautiful creation known to man. She gives life. She nurtures us all. Every single fucking life form on this planet owes a debt to Mother Earth. So in the microcosm, you've got the mother of the family unit, and we all, every single fucking person on this planet, every single life form on this planet, and I know there's some people out there now holding their little fucking bony finger up saying, well, you know, seahorses, fucking kangaroos. Every life force on this planet, so every form of life, owes a debt to the mother, simply because it is the mother that grows that life within her womb. All right? Or supplies the egg, shall we say, wherever it's gestated. She supplies the egg for the seed to... Without the egg, there is no fucking life. Without the seed, there is no life either. Hence the importance on the divine masculine man. It's two sides of the same coin. If you start to destroy one or attack the other, the system falls apart, and we can't have that. It's okay, guys, to be a masculine man, and that doesn't mean you've got to walk around with a chip on your shoulder abusing people, thinking it makes you fucking rock solid, you know, Johnny Concrete, because you're fucking bullying folks with your physical strength. Well, no, that just makes you a dickhead. You know, like, basically being a divine masculine man means that you honor the divine feminine. You treat her with respect, and you treat other people with respect. You know, where did all the gentlemen go? You know, anyway, we discussed that on the other video. I won't go into all of that. See divine feminine, divine masculine, you know, about 50 videos ago or so. Have a look at it. Anyway, it is the mother of the family that gives life. We all owe a debt to our mothers in that sense. Whether she's a good mother thereafter, that's on her. Nonetheless, she is representative of Mother Earth. Now, considering the fact that our children are those who inherit this earth, this beautiful, wonderful, life-sustaining planet that we inhabit, then why the fuck are we allowing the state that is inherently evil? They're evil bastards, man. Why are we letting them take control over the upbringing and the indoctrination of our children? Because that's what they do. They indoctrinate. They don't teach, they don't learn. They indoctrinate. They fucking brainwash. They put your head in a little box, is what they do. Shutting out all other aspects of perception and possibility. They don't nurture your wants and needs. They tell you what your wants and needs ought to be. And should you stray outside of those fucking lines that they've clearly painted on the ground, well then you're a dissident, you know, you're an outcast of society, or at least you'll be made one. You're weird, you know, fucking these days it's conspiracy theorist. Dare step outside the line, you know, because if you do, well, you know, you'll be fucking ridiculed and shamed for it. Again, by design. It's all part of the system. It's all part of the fucking brainwashing. So the children inherit the earth. Of course they do. It's generational. So we owe it to our Mother Earth. We owe it to life itself. If you think that it's not the most important thing to raise your children right, well then you're a fucking idiot. And it's as simple as that, because the future of everything relies on the education that you give your children. And it's as simple as that. And I'm telling you now, man, the fucking government or whoever it is that designs the curriculum, the fucking Rockefellers, whatever, they don't give two Tommy tits about the future of your child for the benefit of this planet. They care about all of that for the benefit of themselves. That's all they care about. All they care about. They want to prolong their existence in the position that they're in their hierarchical, separatist, fucking fractalized society that they have created. They want to live in the capstone and remain there. You know, they're fucking Queen Daenerys Stormborn is who they are. Some fucking idiot tyrant that's lost their mind, that thinks that their life's mission is to rule over everybody else. Fucking drunk on power and delusional. That's what they are. So what do they do about it? Well, they make the system, they create the system so they make it so difficult to live a life that people are able to sustain their own fucking lifestyles within. They make it so difficult to live a life that now everybody's got to fucking go. I mean, because you've got to look at rewind time 50 years. One wage, you know, the man's wage was sufficient to survive on for the whole family. I remember my grandfather went to work and he had a fucking family of 7 kids. He had his wife and his wife's mum living at home. They bought a house, they had a car, they went on holiday, and everybody got fed. And let me tell you, the garden that they had was massive. Now, Berringham, yes, it was a council house that they bought from the council, but they still bought their house. They still owned a house upon their fucking death, man. So, who out there is able to do that now? To do all of that on a man's wage? You know, on the father's wage. Let's not just fucking say, oh, on the man's wage, like men's wages need to be fucking held out here. It's the fucking father's wage, because again, the father, the provider, just like Father Nature provides the seed of life. Think about it. The provider, the receiver, the nurturer, the grower. It's a microcosm and a macrocosm. It's all beautiful, and we're all involved in it, and we're all an equal part of it. We play different parts, but they're equally as important. But nowadays, the system makes it so fucking difficult to survive. Well, now both parents have got to work. That is by design. Inflation, the cost of living. Have you noticed it all fucking starts to go up together? It creates a vice grip on your lifestyle so tight that you've got to fucking balance 5 plates on 4 sticks to keep your own world turning. Otherwise, how are you going to put food on the table? How are you going to put clothes on your kids' backs? Well, in that case, what are you forced to do? You're forced to have both parents go out and work full-time jobs so that you can survive. And in doing so, what happens? Well, first and foremost, you've got to give your kids to the state. You've got to give your kids over to the state. That's what you've got to do. Because who else is going to look after them? Because somebody's fucking going to work, right? Unless you've got parents and relatives that are able to, look after them if you're in that lucky position. In that case, then, fucking brilliant. But you give your family over, you give the future of this planet, the future of this beautiful Mother Earth over to a proven set of oligarchs, tyrannical fucking fascists. Would you give your child to Adolf Hitler? Probably not. I'll have to go out on a limb here. I've not gone out on a limb for a very long time, but I'm going to have to go out on a limb here and say probably not. Because tantamount to Adolf Hitler is who we are ruled by. I dare say Adolf Hitler was fucking small fry. He was not even the protege of the evil that's in control. Hence he was destroyed by it. So, what you've got is the separation of the family, and now the little fucking evil twats are rubbing their hands together. Another generation got, boys. Tell me I'm wrong. So where does this lead to? You know, you've got the family separated. It's all by design. Not only have you got everybody going out to work and having to hand off their children to the government, to the state, to the fucking curriculum, the school system that fucking serves to tell your children, based on the area that they live, how far they're able to fucking climb in society. Because I guarantee you, the curriculum that is fucking delivered at one school in one area is totally different to the curriculum that you would get in a different school. The methods of teaching and how they stimulate the mind in order to learn is a completely different way, creating different neural pathways, therefore creating different people that think on a different level. It's as simple as that. It's fucking... I mean, if you want science, go and look that up. The neural pathways that are created in your brain basically determine how you react to the physical fucking life that you've got. Your knee-jerk reactions, the way you think, how you process information, it's all there. These people know that. So different ways of learning, different ways of stimulating that physical brain will create different neural pathways, which will then create different people by design. In simple terms, you get different people by teaching them in different ways. This is fucking science. I tell you what, take your kids out of one school and put them in another, and you'll see the difference. The difference is stark. You know, if you've got the money, put your kid into a high school, and then you'll see some differences. Put your kid into a school that you've got to pay for out of your own pocket. Oh yes, you will see the differences. In fact, go and speak to somebody who went to a high school. Just do that. That's enough research. Go and talk to somebody who went to a high school, that went to a private school that you have to fucking pay for. And ask them what they learned. Ask them the lessons they got and what they were taught within that lesson. And you will see that it's either different to yours or different to your kids. Alright? So you're handing your fucking kids over to these people. They're going to tell your kids what they're going to be in life. Do you want that? Or do you want them to believe that they can do whatever they want, they can be whatever they want, should they put their minds to it? Should they give it the required effort and attention? Because that's what it takes. Most things are possible. And for a kid, anything is, because do you know what? They're a blank slate, man. You give them the right morals and the right fucking mental state, well, then they can go out and achieve anything they want to achieve. You know, there won't be some underachieving fucking waste of space. But they're only that, those people are only that because their fucking parents were absent. Never taught them how to be anything else. This is the problem. That in itself is evidence. So, where it leads us is both parents having to work to sustain a life, handing your kids over to this fucking abhorrent system. But not only that, there's different levels, there's different layers to this. Then enter the feminist movement, alright? And how that weaves into this, the modern feminist movement. Like, I'm all for empowering women. I think powerful women are fantastic. There should be more powerful women in this world. More. Let's get every woman empowered. Because you know what? An empowered woman, empowered like fucking in their own divine sovereignty, doesn't mind an empowered sovereign man. In fact, they're more than likely going to be attracted to that. Because like attracts like. I believe myself to be a fucking divine, masculine man. And I am fucking as sovereign as I can be in my own right. And as powerful in my own fucking energy as I can be. And I've absolutely got no problem with divine strength in the female sense. Absolutely not. In fact, it's an attractive quality. I fucking hail that shit. And I dare say I'm not the only one. How could I be? The only people that want to disempower you are those that have no power themselves, that feel more comfortable around people that are disempowered. And why? Because like attracts like. Why would they want to be around somebody who's all powerful? Because then that way it makes them feel even weaker. So they want to disempower other people. So if you've got a system that disempowers, if you've got a set of fucking rules and guidelines that disempowers people, which I'm afraid, girls, the modern feminist movement does exactly that. It disempowers women beyond belief. Well, then it's bad, isn't it? That's obviously a tool of the patriarchy, right? Because who wants to disempower women? Weak men. And other weak women. Let's not forget weak women in all of this. It's not just fucking men. Just weak people in general. So anyway, enter the fucking modern feminist movement. What that tells you is, you don't want to stay home and look after your kids. That's the patriarchy. What you want to do is go and get yourself a fucking set of overalls and get down that fucking building site. To prove how much of a woman you are. To prove that you can do just what a man can do. Because that's what makes you a woman. By proving that you can do what a man can do. What? Think about that. To prove you're a woman, and tell me that this isn't the fucking patriarchy talking through this modern feminist movement when you hear this shit. To prove that you're a woman, you've got to prove that you're a man. Let that fucking sink in. Just let it sink in. Because that's what this fucking movement does. It's disempowering you. It's taking your divine femininity away. What is more divine in the feminine sense than to fucking grow and birth and therefore nurture and look after and teach the next generation that will fucking nurture and look after this planet, this beautiful planet, Mother Earth, that sustains all life, that without fucking which we'd all be fucking non-existent. What greater divine right and honour is there than to do that? And that's been taken away from you. In fact, you're told, in fact, go down the lab, design yourself a baby, save yourself the trouble, design yourself a baby, and we'll just fucking implant it or grow it in a fucking artificial womb so that you can just continue going to work. Who does that benefit? Does it benefit you? Does it benefit your fucking kids? And does it benefit the planet in which we all inhabit? No, it doesn't. It benefits the fucking people that want you to go to work, the people that run the system. And who are these people? Well, the people that are designing artificial wombs, artificial intelligence. They want to force us out of a natural sense into an artificial one. Hence transhumanism agenda and all that shit, which we haven't got to just yet, but down the line it's waiting. People don't want to talk about that subject. It's a bit fringe right now, but as we fucking move out, the fringes get ever closer. That's who these people are, man. Of course they want to take us away from the natural, because it's fucking simply natural when you look at the microcosm and the macrocosm of all things, how we fit into that system. And naturally, men, fucking divine, fucking masculine men are hunter-gatherers. That's why we're fucking built bigger. That's because it's our job. It's not wrong for you to be a fucking man. Wake the fuck up, men. It's not, you don't have to have your fucking bollocks castrated for fucking the sake of the system. Again, it's the system that wants to castrate men so that we don't have a voice. It wants to take away your power too, because you're a threat. Independence is a threat. Hence the attack on independence, the independent upbringing of your children, the independent upbringing of the family fucking unit, and education, the independent education of the next generation. Because how better to take over the planet than to actually take over the planet? They've got to take over the planet, they've got to take over the people and how that planet is inherited in order to actually take over the planet. How many people out there are thinking about Pinky in the Brain? I know I am. Hey, look, we can still have fun. Be it as it may. This is the way it is from where I'm sat anyway. This is the way I see things. And I don't think I'm far from the truth. They've got to destroy everything. That's why you're being told to give everything away and to place it in the hands of them. That's why you're being steered away from the natural course of the way things are done and give it to an unnatural course. That's why that's happening. That's why the natural way for things to happen is now seen as being wrong. It's all been flipped around and turned on its head. Tell me I'm wrong, man. You know, fucking hell, prove me wrong. Fuck's sakes. Opening a door for a woman isn't wrong. Having a door opened for you and having a chair pulled out, having somebody pay for your meal isn't wrong. These are general fucking baseline, common, like, stereotypes. They're easy fucking points to make with regards to gentlemanly masculineness. The honouring of the woman, you know, the female. Why is that disempowering? Tell me why. Oh, that takes away my personal power. No, it gives you more. It takes away your power to have a fucking red carpet laid out before you, does it? Did you see fucking Cleopatra moaning when people were feeding her grapes? No, that took away her personal power to feed herself. Did it really? Or did it give her the opportunity to use her hands for something else whilst she was being fed at the same time? Fuck's sakes. So global domination and the smashing apart of the family unit and the illusion that is fed to us all to make us believe that their way is the natural way, and it's fucking not, is it? When you look at it, it's not. Then enter the trans fucking movement, man. Talk about stirring up the muddy waters, shaking things up. Because again, and this is a fucking hard subject, I get it. This may rile a few people, and fucking good, actually. If it provokes an emotion, then good. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, there's everything right with that. It's the fact that people don't want to feel emotions. Again, steering people away. Making people afraid to feel emotions about certain things. It's another fucking agenda of this whole movement. Because if you don't want to feel, well, what's natural about not feeling anything? But oh no, let's not say anything that's going to make somebody fucking feel something. For what? For the fear that we might have something said to us that might make us feel something? Come on now. Christ almighty, come on. Let's just grow a pair. There's nothing wrong with feeling things. Feeling is how you interact with Mother Earth. With this reality that we dwell within, that we experience. That's how you experience it, through feelings. Your energy centers. It's how you fucking interact with the world around you. If you don't feel, then what are you? You're a bloody robot, man. But okay. Okay. Because that's the way we want to be, right? Who wants you to be a robot? The same people that want to disempower you and that want to take away everything of the natural world and turn it into fucking Silicon Valley. The very same people. Is it all starting to fucking paint a picture here? I hope so. If you're still watching at this point, then thank you. Thank you very much. Because we're about to go dark. No, we're not. Look, the trans movement, right? Fuck it, who cares? If you want to change sex, good for you. I'm not bothered. And nobody else should be. If you want to have your body cut up and turned into something else, then that's your personal right to do so. It is. It's your body. You can do what the fuck you want with it. But trying to force language change and other people to accept things that aren't real, like all these different fucking genders and stuff. There's man and woman. You accept that there's men and women simply by wanting to change into the other. By saying, I don't feel like a woman, I want to be a man, or I don't feel like a man, I want to be a woman, you're acknowledging the very fact that it's one to the other. You can't change your body into a fucking attack Chinook helicopter, can you? No, you can't. But you can identify as one. Okay, therefore there's a difference. Do whatever you want, but don't expect everybody else to fall in line, because that's fascism. Again, another echo of the fucking people running this world. But if you can fucking separate and diminish what it means to be divine masculine and divine feminine, and you can fucking turn that into something that is now so confused, what is men and what is women, and get people fucking arguing over it, well, that's the next step, isn't it? Because where is the way back from that? If people are unwilling to talk, people are unwilling to see sense. I saw a fucking trans woman the other day, born a man but now a woman, on a video trying to define being a trans woman as actually being a woman, simply because some women can't have kids. And this guy was saying, well, what makes you a woman, a natural woman, is the ability to do so. Whether you want to or whether you can, whether there's something medically wrong, every woman, every feminine woman, every female is born. This is what makes you a woman. And again, going back to the fucking micro macro, Mother Earth, nurturer, grower, gives her the ability to gestate life, to give birth, to grow a fucking baby, to give life to the next generation of human beings that will inherit this planet. That's what fucking makes you a woman. Therefore, if a man who is now fucking transitioned into a woman walks into the fucking hospital and says, or walks into the doctor's room and says, I'm having problems getting pregnant, would he run the same tests as he would if a natural born woman walked into that fucking doctor's office and said the same thing? No, he fucking wouldn't, mate. And that's the difference. And fair enough, this fucking trans woman didn't have anything else to say to that. What she said was, well, there's some women that can't have babies. Right? But they were born with the ability to do so, the parts to do so. If they can't have babies at that point, well, then there's something that's clearly gone wrong with the hardware. However, the hardware is there. A man doesn't have a womb. A man doesn't have ovaries. A man doesn't have a fucking natural vagina and a fallopian tubes and a fucking cervix. A man doesn't have all these things. Therefore, a man cannot give birth. A woman who has now had her body altered to look like a man and who has taken fucking, hormone changing drugs to make her a man in everything other than the actual natural part of things, can have a baby, of course, because she was born a natural woman with the parts to do so. And unless you have those fucking physically and surgically removed, well, then you're still able to do so because you've got the parts required. That's the difference. Identify as what the fuck you want, but don't claim it to be anything other than an idea, than a choice, okay? Than a mental thing. It's a fucking head thing. I've heard people say that lots of trans people have got mental health issues. I'm going to give that a minute. I've heard that lots of trans people have got mental health issues, and actually the issue is that those mental health problems are being fed into. It's a body dysmorphia thing. Now, on some levels, I'd have to agree. Because some people that go through this transition remain depressed about who they are. In fact, now they're even more confused. And the suicide rates within trans people post-op is actually quite high. Meaning, it didn't do a lot for their mental state. In fact, it probably added to their problems. I've actually asked homosexual people, you know, gay or lesbian, how they feel about the trans movement. And they don't like the fact, well, the people that I've spoken to anyway, don't like the fact that it's lumped in with the gay side of things, with the gay and lesbian side of things. Because for them, what being gay is a sexual orientation based on their preference